guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 palette picks for spring 2021. I'm going to be giving you all of the spring vibes. I'm actually going into my fall and winter, but I know a lot of you guys live on the other side of the world and you're going into your spring and summer. So I thought I would share my favorite palettes for the spring season. And I guess with that being said, let's just hop into the video. So let's talk about what's on my eyes currently. I did go in with a mixture of two palettes, but the main focus is definitely the mint inner corners, and that will bring me into the first palette that I want to mention, which is the ColourPop Minty eyeshadow palette. This is $14 US. You'll receive 4 metallics, 5 mattes, and you get a really good mixture of different undertone of mints. Some of the shades will be more on the olivey side, some of them will have more of a teal undertone, and then some of them will have like a true green mint. And I think just the variation here is very wide considering it is a monochromatic palette and it's only 9 shadows. I think they did a really amazing job with this. I absolutely love the ColourPop 9-pan palettes because they are monochromatic, and you guys know me, how much I love to be monochromatic, but it's just really easy to differentiate each palette. Like today, I really wanted to create this eye look, and this eye look was inspired by Kaleidos and Kathleen Lights, and I wanted to do a mint in a corner, and I already knew I was gonna go into this palette because it's just, you know, when you look at the packaging, you know what you're getting, and that's what I love about their palettes. I love how it's very affordable, very pigmented, and it's just a really great way to get color into your collection for a very affordable price. So I absolutely love the Minty palette, and I would highly recommend one of my favorite pastel palettes from ColourPop for sure. And my next palette is also from ColourPop. The next 4 palettes are gonna be from ColourPop, so we have 5 palettes in total from ColourPop in today's video. It's been a while since I really mentioned them, but the next palette is the Coastal Coral eyeshadow palette, also $14 US. I think this palette is definitely an underhyped palette from ColourPop. I think it really just screams spring to me. Like if I had to imagine one palette for spring, I would think of Coastal Coral. Before I would think Sweet Talk, but I've been really gravitating towards Coastal Coral more than that palette, and that used to be one of my holy grail palettes. So I really adore this one. I think you get a really great range from corals to those browns that you can make more neutral looks and make it a little bit more subtle. So you have that variation there where you can make it very spring-like, but also very neutral and daily. I think the range in the palette as well, from the finishes, from mattes to metallics, it's just literally perfection. Like this one is one of ColourPop's best palettes in my personal opinion, and I feel like it's definitely underhyped, and whenever I wear this palette I'm like, wow, spring vibes, I'm here for it. You guys have to check this palette out if you haven't already, because I feel like people are sleeping on this one. Like really, this one definitely got swept under the rug, and I'm here to tell you it's such an amazing palette. And the next palette I have is their Cloud Spun palette, and this is their pink monochromatic palette. They have a couple, but I really like the Cloud Spun one because I like the variation of colors, because you get the brighter fuchsia pinks, but you also get some muted pinks, so you have a good variation in looks that you can do with this palette. There is a pressed glitter in here, so that might be a concern to some, but I think for spring looks, pressed glitters make a lot of sense. They're very girly, and that's what I get from spring, very girly, whimsical vibes, and I feel like if one pressed glitter doesn't hurt, so I don't mind that. But I really enjoy this palette. Every time I wear this palette I feel super girly, fresh and fun. The only thing I wish is just some of the metallics, they look quite similar once they are on the eye, so if they were to do something a little bit different with that, that would have given this palette a little bit more depth. But nonetheless, I still think it's a really great pink palette, and I would highly recommend the Cloud Spun. And next I have their Aura and Out palette, and this one again just screams spring to me, but more on that cooler tone side. So I feel like for the spring palette you have this side of the color story, and then the corally and pink side of the spring color story. And this one just gives you a really great range, because if you go column by column, you get the yellows, you get the lime green, and then you get the blue end heels. There's a lot of color combinations you can do alone in this palette, but you can also use this as a companion palette. I think the eye look that I did today is a really great like standard way to incorporate color into a very neutral look. So I just took a medium brown that I will mention soon, and then I just popped the mint in a corner. You could do that with the yellow, you could do that with the green, you could do that with the pink or the corals. I feel like this is a really great, easy way to incorporate color into your look. These shades in the Or and Out palette, they contain a lot of unique shades that are really unique into my collection. So I really enjoy Or and Out. I think this is also underhyped, I feel. And my last ColourPop palette that I want to mention in today's video is their Blush Crush palette. A very popular palette for a very good reason. It's one of my favorite all-time palettes. This palette I feel like is great all year round, but it really does give me soft girl vibes, like very romantic, muted pinks. And I imagine wearing this palette like under cherry blossoms, very girly, whimsical, fairy-like, and that's just really spring to me. I would wear this any time of the year, honestly. Like, you can wear any of these palettes any time of the year. You don't have to wear it for spring, but I really do enjoy these shadows because they have that muted, it's just like soft girl. This is soft girl vibes, you know? Do you guys get what I'm trying to say here? It's not too bright in your face like some of the other palettes that I did mention. This one is a great like daily spring palette, like so good, guys. Like, I absolutely adore Blush Crush. Even the packaging is just spring vibes, you know? Take a shot every time I say spring vibes. And my next two palettes both come from Odin's Eye, and the first one is their Alva 2 eyeshadow palette. This is 25.90 euros. When you look at this palette, you guys, like, does this not just scream spring to you? What I really love about this palette is that it kind of splits row by row, or I should say column by column. The first two columns have that sort of warm spectrum of the spring color story that I was mentioning earlier, and then the other two columns definitely lean to that cooler green and blue tone side. And I haven't used this one as much, as you can probably tell. It looks quite new. I've just dabbled into a couple of the matte shadows, but when I just see this color story, I literally just think of spring. You get a good range of like vibrant rainbow colors, but also a hint of little pastel colors as well. So I really just enjoy this palette, and I think it's a really great option for a spring color palette. So this would be my first recommendation from Odin's Eye. I also have their Alva 2 mini forest palette, and this is 16.90 euros. And I did take that medium chocolate brown as my shadow all over my lid today. Perfect chocolate brown. But I think this is a really great mini spring palette because you could take that brown like I did today, and I was gonna use this teal for my inner corners today, but I feel like it didn't match my sweater completely. But you could pop that in the inner corner, pop this metallic on top of that, pretty much recreate the look that I'm doing right now, but just with a different color. And same with the other metallics in here. Like, this is such a solid, great springtime palette, and the color story is just so pretty with like the blue and the gold with the green, that contrast, that sort of like warm fuzzy feeling color story. I don't know, I'm describing it really weird, but I think this is a really great mini palette from Odin's Eye for a spring look. Even their packaging, Odin's Eye's packaging is always like the best, I feel, but they give me a lot of spring vibes, like very whimsical, fairy, cottagecore vibes. I love that. And this forest palette actually just suits my entire look right now. Like, I'm living for it. And then my next palette is from Kaleidos. This is their Futurism Lunar Lavender palette, and this is 24 US dollars. It will consist of 4 mattes and 2 metallics, and this is a really great purple spring palette, I feel, because you do get those center shades of purples. You get a lighter purple, a true purple, and then metallics, but at the outer edges you get these browns, so you can use them as transition. So similar to the eye look that I did today, you could take this brown all over the lid, pop these purples in the inner corner, and it's a really nice way to add some purple into your eye look, but it's not too overpowering. And I really do love Kaleidos' formulation as well. They work so well, and I think this is a really great purple neutral mini palette for the springtime. And my next palette comes from Fenty Beauty. This is their Snap Shadow in number 8 Pastel Frost. This is 25 US dollars, and this is actually an all shimmer palette. You could pop any of these 6 shadows in the inner corners and that will completely change up the look. You can be monochromatic, match it to your outfit. So I love how this is a really great companion palette, and whenever I just see this in my collection, I'm just like, yes, this is a lot of spring vibes, a lot of Easter vibes. And although I don't know if Fenty Beauty is 100% cruelty free, it is in my collection, and I just wanted to mention that and let you guys decide, because I do see some cruelty free creators still follow and use Fenty Beauty, so I still have these in my collection, and I thought I would mention it because it's just a lot of like Easter vibes and spring vibes. And my last palette, I wanted to save it for last because it is the most expensive, and this is the M Cosmetics Divine Skies eyeshadow palette in the shade Magic Hour, and this goes for $40 US, which is really expensive. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you need this palette because it is really expensive for 6 eyeshadows, but I really do love this palette. Although it's only 6 shadows, I feel like you get everything you need. This palette is very light to medium. You won't get anything too dark or smoky, and I think that fits the season of spring. This palette's called Magic Hour, and it's called Magic Hour for a really great reason. I think whenever I wear this palette as well, I'm like, yes, give me the spring vibes. I love this palette. Alright you guys, so those were my top 10 palette picks for spring 2021. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video and just seeing some fun, pretty color stories. I love pastel colors, and whenever I see them, I feel really happy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know your thoughts down below. What are some of your favorite spring palettes? I would love to check them out for myself. I would also love to know if you guys would like to see this seasonally. Would you like to see a fall version, a winter version, a summer version? Let me know, give the video a thumbs up, and I definitely can do that for you guys when the seasons roll around. I will probably work in the US seasons because more than half of you guys are from the other side of the world, so I will probably follow those seasons. But let me know if you guys would like to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!